A man once stood atop the world, his name striking fear into the hearts of opponents, his bank account swelling with hundreds of millions of dollars. A man who owned Bengal tigers as pets, bathed in a solid gold tub, and possessed over 100 luxury cars. A man who reached the absolute pinnacle of his sport, only to lose everything in spectacular fashion. But what happened after the fall? How does someone recover from losing over $400 million? And where is Mike Tyson now? Brooklyn, New York, 1966. On June 30th, in the shadows of towering housing projects, Michael Gerard Tyson entered a world of poverty and violence. His father abandoned the family before he was born, leaving his mother Lorna Smith to raise him in Brownsville, one of America's most dangerous neighborhoods in the 1970s. Young Mike's childhood was defined by constant struggle. With his mother battling alcoholism and unable to provide stability, Tyson found himself drawn to the streets. By the age of 13, he had been arrested an astonishing 38 times, mostly for petty crimes and street fights. His path seemed destined for prison or worse. But fate had different plans. While detained at the Tryon School for Boys, a juvenile detention facility in upstate New York, something unexpected happened. A correction officer and former boxer named Bobby Stewart noticed something special in the troubled teenager. The way he moved, his raw power, his natural instincts. Stewart introduced 13-year-old Tyson to legendary boxing trainer Cus D'Amato. Upon meeting the boy, D'Amato reportedly turned to Stewart and made an extraordinary prediction. This kid will be the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. It wasn't just empty praise. D'Amato saw something in Tyson that others couldn't. The potential for greatness. When Tyson's mother died when he was 16, D'Amato became his legal guardian, moving him into his home in Catskill, New York. But what exactly did D'Amato see in the troubled teenager from Brooklyn, and how would this relationship transform not just Tyson's boxing career, but his entire life? D'Amato wasn't just any trainer. He had previously guided Floyd Patterson to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history at age 21. Now he was determined to break that record with Tyson. Under D'Amato's tutelage, Tyson developed the distinctive peekaboo style. Hands held high near the cheeks, constant head movement, and explosive power delivered from a crouched position. This unconventional approach made Tyson nearly impossible to hit, while allowing him to generate devastating power from short distances. But D'Amato's influence went far beyond boxing technique. He instilled discipline, confidence, and ambition in the young fighter. For perhaps the first time in his life, Tyson had structure, purpose, and someone who believed in him unconditionally. Cus used to talk about boxing being the sport of kings, that we were warriors, Tyson would later recall. He filled my head with so much information and knowledge about great fighters. He made me feel like I was part of that legacy. Tyson turned professional in March 1985, at just 18 years old. His debut was a first-round knockout of Hector Mercedes. It was a sign of things to come. What followed was one of the most meteoric rises in sports history. Tyson won his first 19 professional fights by knockout, 12 of them in the first round. His ferocity in the ring was unlike anything boxing fans had ever seen. He didn't just defeat opponents, he terrorized them. Tragedy struck in November 1985. When Cus D'Amato died of pneumonia at age 77. He would never see his prophecy fulfilled. Devastated by the loss of his mentor and father figure, Tyson channeled his grief into his boxing, becoming even more focused and destructive in the ring. On November 22, 1986, just 1 year after D'Amato's death, 20-year-old Mike Tyson faced WBC heavyweight champion Trevor Berbick. The fight lasted less than 2 rounds. Tyson demolished Berbick with a combination that sent the champion crashing to the canvas 3 times from a single knockdown. A scene so unusual that it's still studied by boxing fans today. At 20 years 4 months and 22 days old, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, exactly as D'Amato had predicted. But this was just the beginning. By August 1987, Tyson had unified the heavyweight division, holding the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles simultaneously. He was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world at just 21 years old. His record stood at a perfect 31-0 with 27 knockouts. And then came the money, lots of it. As Tyson's star rose, so did his bank account. His 91-second destruction of Michael Spinks in 1988 earned him $20 million. At the time, the richest purse in boxing history. Between 1987 and 2002, Mike Tyson would earn approximately $400 million from his boxing career alone. Let that number sink in for a moment. $400 million. His biggest payday would come in 2002, when his fight against Lennox Lewis generated $103 million, with Tyson taking home roughly $40 million despite losing by knockout. With unprecedented wealth came unprecedented spending. Tyson's extravagance during his prime years became the stuff of legend. At the height of his fame and fortune, Tyson owned multiple mansions across the United States. His most notorious residence was a 52-room Connecticut estate that perfectly embodied his more is more philosophy. Spanning over 50,000 square feet on 17 acres, this palatial compound featured 21 bedrooms, 25 bathrooms, an indoor nightclub called Club TKO, an NBA regulation basketball court, and a garage large enough to house his growing collection of exotic cars. The mansion's most extravagant features included gold-plated fixtures throughout, hand-carved marble statues, and crystal chandeliers imported from Italy. The property also boasted multiple swimming pools, including an Olympic-sized indoor pool with a waterfall feature. But perhaps the most outrageous purchase for this home was a custom 24-karat gold bathtub, costing $2.2 million, a Christmas gift for his first wife, actress Robin Givens. Yes, you heard that correctly. A solid gold bathtub worth more than most people's entire homes. The monthly upkeep for this property alone? Over $125,000. And this was just one of several homes Tyson maintained simultaneously. Tyson's passion for luxury vehicles bordered on obsession. At his peak, he owned more than 100 cars, many of which he would drive just once or twice before losing interest. His collection included at least 5 Rolls-Royces, numerous Bentleys, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Mercedes-Benzes. One of his most prized possessions was a custom 1995 Ferrari F50, one of only 349 ever made, that he later sold at auction for $4.2 million. Tyson would often impulse purchase vehicles, sometimes buying multiple cars in a single shopping spree. On one documented occasion, he bought 3 Bentleys in a single day, worth over $750,000 combined. But perhaps his most notorious vehicular indulgence came when he crashed his Bentley into a parked car. Rather than have it repaired, he simply gave the $150,000 vehicle to the 2 police officers who responded to the accident and bought himself a new one the next day. His spending on cars alone between 1995 and 1998 is estimated at over $4.5 million. The equivalent of more than $8 million in today's currency. While cars and homes consumed much of Tyson's fortune, they were just the beginning of his extravagant lifestyle. In a 2020 episode of his podcast, Hot Boxin' with Mike Tyson, he made a startling admission. "I was that guy. Crazy with the money. I had so much money I couldn't even count it. I was just buying whatever I wanted. And whatever truly meant anything that caught his eye, no matter how exotic or impractical." Take, for example, his infamous Bengal tigers. Tyson purchased 3 white Bengal tigers at $70,000 each. These weren't just display pieces. Tyson lived with these 400-pound predators, often sleeping with them and treating them like oversized house cats. The initial purchase price was just the beginning. Each tiger required a full-time trainer at $125,000 per year, plus an additional $125,000 annually for food, veterinary care, and insurance. Over the years he owned these magnificent creatures, Tyson spent approximately $2.5 million on his tiger collection alone. But why tigers? What drove Tyson to such unusual purchases? In his own words, "I was in prison and I was talking to my car dealer at the time, and he had some cars that belonged to a drug dealer. And he said, 'If you got all this money, why don't you buy some tigers?' I said, 'That's true. Why not?'" It was this impulsive decision-making that characterized Tyson's relationship with money during his prime earning years. Tyson's wardrobe was equally ostentatious. He favored custom-made suits from the world's most exclusive tailors, often spending $10,000 on a single outfit he might wear only once. His jewelry collection was valued at over $7 million, including numerous diamond-encrusted watches, chains, and bracelets. One of his most infamous purchases was a solid gold crown, worth $125,000 that he would occasionally wear to press conferences, a literal representation of his self-proclaimed status as the king of boxing. The spending extended to his entourage as well. Tyson employed a staff of over 200 people, including bodyguards, chefs, chauffeurs, gardeners, and even a full-time haircut specialist who received $10,000 per week despite Tyson's famously bald head. During his peak earning years, Tyson's monthly expenses reached an astounding $400,000, including $100,000 per month in walking around money that he distributed to his entourage and used for impromptu purchases. But as the money flowed in, so did the problems. Tyson's personal life began to unravel in very public ways. In February 1990, in one of boxing's greatest upsets, Tyson lost his undisputed heavyweight championship to 42-1 underdog James "Buster" Douglas in Tokyo, Japan. The invincible aura was shattered. Later that same year, Tyson's highly publicized divorce from actress Robin Givens was finalized after a tumultuous 8-month marriage that included allegations of physical abuse. The divorce settlement cost Tyson millions. Then came the most serious blow of all. In July 1991, Tyson was arrested and charged with the rape of 18-year-old beauty pageant contestant Desiree Washington. In February 1992, he was convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison. Tyson served 3 years of his sentence before being released in March 1995. During his incarceration, his fortune continued to dwindle through mismanagement, legal fees, and ongoing expenses for properties and staff he maintained while behind bars. Upon his release, Tyson attempted to reclaim his boxing throne. After a series of comeback victories, he regained a portion of the heavyweight title. But the darkest chapter of his sporting career was yet to come. On June 28, 1997, in a rematch against Evander Holyfield, Tyson committed one of the most shocking acts in sports history when he bit off a portion of Holyfield's ear in the third round. The fight was stopped, Tyson was disqualified, and his boxing license was temporarily revoked. The bite fight, as it became known, damaged Tyson's reputation but ironically generated substantial revenue. The event produced $180 million in total revenue, with Tyson earning approximately $30 million despite the disqualification. As the 1990s progressed into the early 2000s, Tyson's career and finances continued their downward spiral. Failed comeback attempts, increasingly erratic behavior, and continued excessive spending depleted what remained of his once vast fortune. The final blow came in August 2003, when Mike Tyson, who had earned over $400 million during his career, filed for bankruptcy. Court documents revealed debts of approximately $23 million, including $13.4 million owed to the IRS. How could someone who earned so much lose it all? And more importantly, what would happen next? Could a man who had reached such heights, fallen so low, and lost everything possibly find redemption? The years following Tyson's bankruptcy were filled with struggle and soul-searching. After a final unsuccessful comeback attempt that ended with a loss to journeyman Kevin McBride, in 2005, Tyson officially retired from professional boxing with a record of 50 wins, 6 losses, and 2 no contests. Without boxing, Tyson seemed lost. He battled addiction issues, continued financial problems, and struggled to find purpose in a world that had moved on from his glory days. But then something unexpected happened, something that would begin Tyson's remarkable third act. In 2009, Tyson appeared as himself in the blockbuster comedy The Hangover. His brief but memorable role showcased a different side of the former champion. Self-deprecating, funny, and able to laugh at his own notorious public image, the film's massive success reintroduced Tyson to a new generation and began his transformation from boxing pariah to beloved cultural icon. This unexpected career pivot would eventually lead to something even more unlikely: Mike Tyson, businessman. In December 2015, recreational cannabis was legalized in California. Tyson, who had long been open about his personal cannabis use, saw an opportunity in this emerging market. After an initial failed venture called Tyson Ranch, he co-founded Tyson 2.0 in 2021 with experienced cannabis industry veterans. The company has since become his most successful business endeavor, generating over $50 million in annual revenue by 2024. Operating in 24 U.S. states and 16 international markets, Tyson 2.0 produces premium cannabis products, including flower, concentrates, vapes, and edibles. The company's most famous product, Mike Bites, ear-shaped gummies that playfully reference the infamous Holyfield incident. In a remarkable twist of fate, the most notorious moment of Tyson's career, one that once symbolized his self-destruction, has been transformed into a multi-million-dollar business asset. If that's not redemption, what is? These days, Tyson still embraces luxury, but he does so with firm guardrails, one elegant home, a pared-down collection of cars, and experiences he can enjoy without courting the excesses that once consumed him. In short, indulgence now stops well before the edge of temptation. Interestingly, despite his considerable wealth, Tyson deliberately avoids private jet ownership. In a 2022 interview, he explained this unusual choice. "When I'm on a private plane, all I think about is cocaine and prostitutes." This remarkable self-awareness highlights Tyson's personal growth and commitment to maintaining his sobriety and mental health. Beyond his business ventures and material possessions, perhaps the most significant aspect of Tyson's transformation is his family life. Married to Lakeha Kiki Spicer since June 2009, Tyson credits her with saving his life during his darkest moments. "I'm very happy with my wife and my family. I never thought we'd be together this long," Tyson has said of their relationship, which has lasted over 2 decades since they first met when she was 18. Together, they have 2 children, daughter Milan, 16, and son Morocco, 13. Milan is pursuing a promising career as a professional tennis player, training with Patrick Mouratoglou, the former coach of Serena Williams. Morocco is kept largely out of the public eye, as the couple attempts to give him a normal childhood. Tyson also has 4 adult children from previous relationships: Mikey Lorna, 34, Reina, 29, Amir, 27, and Miguel, 22, each pursuing their own careers in fields ranging from music to journalism to photography. Despite children from different mothers, the family maintains close relationships, with Lakeha actively involved in all their lives. This blended family represents another dimension of Tyson's remarkable journey from troubled youth to family patriarch. So where does Mike Tyson stand financially today? After the bankruptcy that wiped out his $400 million fortune, Tyson has rebuilt his wealth through strategic business ventures, careful financial management, and leveraging his iconic status. As of 2025, Mike Tyson's net worth is estimated between $20 to $50 million. The majority of this wealth comes from his Tyson 2.0 cannabis enterprise, which generates over $50 million in annual revenue, with projections reaching $75 to $100 million by next year. His recent exhibition fight against Jake Paul in November 2024 significantly boosted his finances, with Tyson reportedly earning between $20 to $40 million for the event. Though he lost by unanimous decision, the fight became the most streamed sporting event in history with 108 million peak viewers on Netflix. Amid the fanfare and financial success, Tyson's physical health was unraveling in ways few knew at the time. In May 2024, Tyson suffered a severe ulcer flare-up that required 8 blood transfusions and caused him to lose half his blood volume and 25 pounds of body weight. At 58, Tyson maintains impressive physical condition through modified versions of the training routines that made him boxing's most feared heavyweight. Though family members confirm he's done with professional boxing after the Paul fight, Tyson continues to train regularly, often sharing workout videos on social media that showcase his still formidable power and speed. Beyond his business ventures, Tyson has increasingly focused on giving back through the Mike Tyson Cars Foundation, established to help disadvantaged youth. Most notably, he donated the majority of his $10 million in earnings from a 2020 exhibition fight against Roy Jones Jr. to various charitable causes. "I'm grateful to be in a position where I can help others," Tyson has said of his philanthropic efforts. "I've been given second and third chances in life, and I want to make sure kids growing up in situations like I did get those same opportunities." The story of Mike Tyson is one of the most remarkable narratives in sports history. A journey from extreme poverty to unprecedented wealth, from global adoration to public disgrace, from bankruptcy to successful reinvention. The man who once owned Bengal tigers, bathed in a solid gold tub, and burned through $400 million, now lives a more measured life, focused on family, business, and personal growth. His transformation from the baddest man on the planet to entrepreneur and family man represents one of the most compelling redemption stories of our time. At 58, surrounded by family in his Las Vegas mansion while overseeing a thriving cannabis empire, Tyson appears to have found something that eluded him during his boxing prime: genuine peace and sustainable success. When asked in a 2023 interview what he wanted his legacy to be, Tyson responded with characteristic simplicity: "I want to be remembered as someone who was knocked down repeatedly, but always got back up, in the ring and in life. That's what matters." For a man who once had everything, lost it all, and rebuilt his life from the ashes, that legacy seems already secure. If you enjoyed this journey into Mike Tyson's extraordinary life, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our upcoming celebrity lifestyle explorations. Comment below with which sports legend you'd like us to feature next.